AM1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
This program is paid for by friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
the 501c3
nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening to the Varsity Friday Night Postgame Rap.
Varsity Friday Night Postgame Rap.
Good evening and welcome to the Varsity Friday Night Postgame Show. My name is Vince Delicio, and we had quite the adventure tonight. A lot of great football. Man, I got to tell you, I was on tap to call the Saguaro Corona game. We'll have more on that later. Unfortunately, I had a little mishap with me and another flat tire. Me and flat tires. It happened to me on the way home from Oceanside a few weeks ago. It trapped somewhere outside of Yuma, and it happened again. And that's with new tires. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, I ended up making it over to Brophy. I got there late, so I went to a different game to kind of observe. And Brophy, congratulations, big win over Notre Dame Prep. Now, I'm joined in the studio by a good friend of mine, one of our team members. His name is Mason Byers, and Mason has a very talented broadcaster, called quite a few games so far this season. Also was host of Varsity Live, our pregame, postgame show on our social media, every platform on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well as Varsity National Live, which is our national East Coast Central Time Zone postgame wrap-up show that he participated in. Mason, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here. It's my first time in a radio station, so
no kidding.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Oh man, yeah, it's there's an initiation. We're gonna hand you a broom in a little while to kind of clean it before. Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. No, this is awesome. I'm glad because this is a very, very fast hour that you're going to be a part of. You're going to kind of take the lead and navigate all of the amazing. Okay, so Varsity, what do we do in this Friday night postgame show? We take you through every single game we covered, our team covered tonight in Arizona, in Nevada, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about our Houston game of the week briefly. It's Lamar versus Westside, two traditional perennial powerhouses in the city of Houston. That kicks off tomorrow night. We're not really going to talk too much about it because we've got a lot of other stuff, but it is. I will say it's a big game. We're broadcasting the game. Our very own Matthew Wakama and Caitlin Pickett, as well as technical director Quadra Walton and Demirian Allen Mays running production. So good stuff. What I'm going to do, Mason, I'm going to turn it over to you to guide us through and introduce our first guest and correspondent.
Awesome. Yeah, well, our first correspondent is out in Las Vegas. Nicholas Anderson, one of the best. I've learned a lot from his stuff, and he was out covering the St. Lutheran game, and he's going to give us a little recap.
How's it going, Mason?
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, so the recap off what we saw at the St. Lutheran versus Sierra Vista game, like I talked to you earlier, we're seeing an underdog story being built for these Crusaders this season. This is the best start they've had ever in their program history. They're 6-0 under head coach Mike Sanford. This is the second time that they had been 5-0 in the last 2 years, so this team has really turned it around. And coming off this game, you look at a quarterback in Alex Rogers, 6 foot, 280-pound starter, had 584 yards coming into this game. He threw for over 250-plus yards and 3 touchdowns for this game to receivers like Mac Ford and Russell Shepard, who were just dynamic tonight for the Crusaders. And not to mention the defensive side of the ball, they had players like, Cole Keith, Patrick Duffy, who were really dominant tonight. And give credit to Sierra Vista, who, though were on the losing end of a 34-13 loss, you had players like Adonis Vaughn and Christian Lee, who were getting work done on the ground, who sparked life in the Mountain Lions team. And give credit to the quarterback, Charles Pedera, who was also spectacular in tonight's game. He kept it clean, no turnovers, and just couldn't get it done tonight.
Awesome. I think you mentioned earlier that Alexander Rogers was your player of the game, so we're going to cut to that interview.
Anderson here with the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here with the player of the game himself from Faith Lutheran, Alex Rogers. Rogers, I mean, you had 3 touchdowns on the night. Speak about your performance and what you saw in yourself tonight.
Yeah, I think we prepared really well this week to come out and perform well offensively against Sierra Vista. I think I was just seeing receivers open downfield. They were making some great catches, offensive line blocking well. So everything was just going well for us tonight.
Talk about that offensive line. It seems like the offensive line had the blocking going for the run game to open up with Kale, and it just seemed to open up the passing game for you, and you found receivers in Shepard and just made plays happen tonight. What did you see in your receivers and your offensive line tonight?
Yeah, our offensive line, defenses love to stack the box against us because our running back, BYU commit, Kale, he's really good. So our offensive line, they have to adapt every week and change their game plan. And today we knew they were going to stack the box, so we had to perform well throwing. So an Ipa, rookie, Jack, they all made some great catches, Mac. So yeah, it was just really well throwing the ball for us tonight.
You guys moved to 6-0 on the season. Not only is that your best start in program history, it's your best start under your head coach. There seems like there's a certain aura around in this team. What do you sense in that, and how does that make you guys feel that this is your best start in program history?
Yeah, we're great friends off the field, on the field. We hang out with each other all the time, and it's the class of 25. We've all pretty much been together since freshman year. Most of us played on the freshman team, going to JV and now on varsity. And we're ready to go. We've been waiting for this moment, and we're just trying to bring home a state championship.
Rogers, fantastic game once again, man. You guys have legacy after the bye week. This is Nicholas Anderson here at Sierra Vista High School reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicholas Anderson, for covering that game in Las Vegas. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Have a great night. Awesome. And now we are going to talk to, obviously just a great game in Las Vegas. Like you said, 2 great programs going at it. Obviously, St. Lutheran coming away with a win and proving that they were the better team tonight. And we have a Mountain View recap coming up here shortly. It's going to be with Kavish Siddhartha. He was out there at Mountain View, and he was out there, talked to a little bit about that pregame with Mountain View. A great program as always. The Toros, usually always a great team, and
what I really like, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mason. The reason why I was jumping in is because of the fact that Mountain View is so loaded. I mean, have you watched them play? I know you've covered some other teams. You covered Brophy, you covered Horizon, Saguaro. You have a chance to see Mountain View?
I watched them a little bit the first time I did Varsity Live, and then I watched them a little bit tonight.
Have you seen that linebacker, running back, Beckett Barney? That dude he's a monster. He reminds me of, they had a player that's kind of like my man crush. His name is Todd Shell. He played in the NFL years back. But another guy, a throwback to Pittsburgh Steelers great Jack Lambert. I mean, this guy is tough. He's physical. He runs the ball like a gazelle, and he's a big guy. But he may not have been in uniform tonight. I'm not sure if he was injured and there was another player that subbed for him. We're going to find out because obviously I was not at that game tonight, but we're going to turn it over to Kavish. Kavish, welcome to the program.
Hey, Vince, how you doing?
Not bad, man. Not bad. I got Mason here with us, but give us a breakdown of Mountain View.
Yeah, so, it was a pretty dominating game tonight. I think the final result was about 54-0, so pretty one-sided. But I do think the game showed a lot of potential for Mountain View specifically. Obviously, with they really just had so many different avenues in which they could score on offense. And what I thought was most interesting was that their star running back, Beckham Barney, was actually injured for this game. And so they had a backup called Reese Bodley who came in, and he had a phenomenal game. This kid is 5'7", 165. He was our player of the game tonight. But the moves he was putting on the field, the speed he had, he was electrifying tonight, and he really got the job done for them.
Yeah, was he your guys' player of the game tonight?
Yeah, he was. When any team wins 54-0, it's going to be tough to choose a selection, but especially for this game, Mountain View's quarterback, Brady Goodman, played amazing. They had a trio of wide receivers who I think all had multiple touchdowns, Zachary Galaviz, Taylon Arnett. There were so many to choose from, but I think just because his role and impact was so unexpected, yet he performed so well. I think that's the main determinant and why we made him, why we chose him as the player of the game.
Well, I think, Kavish, we have an interview with him. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And then, Dylan, we're going to run that interview.
Hello, and welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here post-game with player of the game for the MtnView Toros, Rios Bodley. Rios, any nerves coming into this one? Obviously, you are the backup running back, but you did not make it look that way on the field today.
Coach Litton mentioned it. I hurt my foot. I hurt my ankle in the first game, and it's still kind of lingering, but it's good to be back on the field. Just nerves for my ankle, but just got to run the ball hard.
Absolutely. And what was like the secret to your success? Obviously, in that game, you had a lot of carries for north of 10 yards, extending drives.
Really just the O-line. They do all the work, and I'm lucky to have the best O-line in the state. It's all the guys up front. It's not me.
Absolutely. And how much of that accreditation to the O-line and the rest of the team, goes into your team chemistry in training week in, week out?
I think it just gives us a confidence boost knowing that our line is really big and that we can run the ball with such authority. Even when Beckham's running it or when our other back Dom Gerard's running it, we can just run the ball, and that's probably one of our best attributes of our team.
Well, congratulations on earning player of the game today, and thank you so much for watching the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you.
Awesome. Just a humble kid. Just a humble kid right there, as you can tell. I mean, I think it was just a humble game there. He said the O-line gave all of his, he gave the O-line the credit, so great job by him for being humble.
Absolutely. It's exciting to hear that acknowledgement. In an age when, even when we were teens, it takes a lot to praise someone else, especially in this day and age. And I feel very confident in our youth, especially with that are involved in team sports, that you acknowledge it's a big fraternity and nice work. Great win tonight for the Toros. Nice job. When we come back from the break, my buddy Mason Byers. Mason, what do we have coming up next?
We're going to talk to Saleh Awwad, who was out at Dobson, and then Julia Coyne, who was at the Queen Creek game.
Awesome. Guys, don't go anywhere here on Varsity. We still don't know what the name of the show is. Varsity Friday night postgame, something like that. When we come back from the break, Vincent Mason, don't go anywhere. Go Varsity.
Football fans, it's Mellow Monday, so join the Rooster at Mellow Mushroom off the I-17 in Happy Valley Road between 5 and 6 p.m. every Monday night during football season.
Hey there, my name is IanMonje, and I am a fourth-year sports journalism student at Arizona State University, and I'm so stoked to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show this fall. Having my own podcast and co-hosting a radio show shaped my dream of becoming a sports radio show host, and I'm looking forward to working with the best and bringing you the best sports stories and content this semester.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to once again be the official broadcast team of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. We are back for another year of HJCAC football. We'll bring you the JUCO Game of the Week, on-site live coverage, weekly JUCO report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show, and coming this fall, the weekly Coaches Show with Coach Doug Medoski. Stay tuned for more. JUCO football is alive and well in Arizona. Brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show and the HJCAC.
Hello everyone, my name is TomasaPerez, and this is my second year at Varsity Sports Show, and I am proud to join you this season. As a sports journalism major at the Walter Cronkite Journalism School, I am glad to experience more in depth of this inside world of the sports industry. I am so excited to be with you guys on this journey this fall and hope you guys enjoy.
I'll turn those picks into gold.
Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM1060 and KDUS1060.com.
City Friday night, still figuring out the name show. Maybe that will be the name. I don't know. Still brainstorming it. But we have lots of great action. We just talked to some of our correspondents out in Las Vegas and Arizona. And we're going to continue to talk to some of our correspondents because they were at the game. They know what happened, and they have the best vision for it. And we're actually going to turn it over to Saleh Awwad, who was out at that Dobson game, and we're going to go ask him about that game right now.
How you doing, Mason?
Hey, Saleh, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I was at the Dobson game. They hosted Westwood, and it was a tough game for Dobson, at least in the first half. They went down 48-0 in the first half. They really couldn't get anything together. They had multiple punt blocks for touchdowns. It was just bad. They had their starting quarterback and starting running back left the game with injuries and didn't return. But in the second half, they outscored them 14-0, so they showed a little life, but, yeah, it was a tough game for Dobson.
Yeah, amidst those injuries, I mean, was it still that kind of next man up mentality? And even though they didn't get the win, they still tried their best out there?
Yeah, definitely. And, the coach heading into this game, they were 2-2, so he was a little optimistic, but it was definitely a tough game for them. And losing their starting running back, they've kind of ran the offense through him this season. He averages over 100 yards a game on the ground, but the offensive line really wasn't helping. They were letting the D-line get in the backfield every play, and it was just too much for Austin, and he got injured.
Awesome. And then who was your guys' player of the game for Dobson tonight?
It was Noah Ahmed. He stepped up after their starting quarterback got hurt. He's actually traditionally a wide receiver and cornerback, but he stepped in at wide receiver and cornerback, my bad. But he stepped in at quarterback and had a couple great plays. He took a read option like 40 yards into the 10 for them. For not being a quarterback, he definitely stepped up. So that was our player of the game for them.
Awesome. And I think we have an interview with Noah Ahmed. And Saleh, I just want to thank you so much for joining the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Byers.
Awesome. And then, Dylan, we're going to run that interview with Ahmed.
Alexandra Medina here with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am joined by today's player of the game, Noah Ahmed. Noah, you came in the first quarter to back up your team. How are you feeling out there in the quarterback position?
Honestly, it's never a position I played, but I try to stay as calm and collected as I can. I try to rally my guys together, and I just ask for them to go forth and put as much effort as I do for this team because I love the game of football, and I'm trying to work with as much as I can, and that's not the scoreboard that we wanted to see tonight, but things happen, adversity happens, and I feel like we fought as best as we could tonight.
Now, you were able to make big plays off of bobbled snaps. How are you able to do that, and how does your team play a role in the environment of the overall team?
Honestly, I'm not trying to sound like I have an ego, but I've had a playmaking ability ever since I was young. I see the ball, I see the vision, and I just go with it, and I try to make plays happen as best I can, and my team just rolls with it. And however I'm feeling, I try to pump them up, and they follow me, so I try to lead them as best I can.
Awesome. You heard it from today's player of the game. That's Noah Ahmed. Dobson High will be traveling to Campo Verde to take them on in their next game. I'm Alexandra Medina with the Varsity Sports Show reporting.
Awesome. Great interview there by Noah Ahmed. I think it says a lot about a player who traditionally isn't a quarterback and steps in, and when his name is called, he doesn't complain, and he tries his best out there, and I think that's a lot of courage by a player, especially at a quarterback position, definitely the hardest position to play in football, in my opinion. So great job by Ahmed, and great job on being the Varsity Sports Show player of the game. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Our correspondent, Julia Coyne, was out at the Queen Creek versus Mountain Ridge game, so we're going to get a little recap of that game and see what happened out there.
Hi, yeah. So
Score was 49-7. Queen Creek defeated Mountain Ridge. It was overall basically a blowout. In the first quarter, Queen Creek scored twice pretty quickly in the first 5 minutes. Clemson commit Tate Reynolds ran it in for 70-plus yards for their second touchdown. He was our player of the game. He had an incredible performance tonight. Overall, I mean, they scored 42-0 at the half, so they basically blew out Mountain Ridge. Mountain Ridge was able to score in the third quarter to make the final score 49-7, but they were not able to do much after that.
Awesome. Definitely seems like a great game by Queen Creek, and sounds like that Tate Reynolds did a great job out there, the Clemson commit.
Yeah, he did an incredible job, as well as Queen Creek's defense. They were able to stop Mountain Ridge basically the entire game. I mean, the first drive for Mountain Ridge, Queen Creek picked it off, so it did not start out strong for them. And throughout the game, that basically continued.
Well, awesome. It sounds like it was definitely a great game for Queen Creek, not only offensively but defensively. And thank you so much, Julia, for being out there and covering that game for us.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a great night, Julia.
You too.
We're going to pop in the post-game player of the game as soon as Corey and Dylan have that queued up. Let us know, guys. It's interesting. I've got to say, Queen Creek, probably their best offensive weapon is one of their coaches, a guy by the name of Scooter Molander, who's working with the offensive quarterbacks. Those of you guys that remember Coach Molander, Scooter was an NFL quarterback. He grew up here in the Valley. And the guy's a legend. He won a couple state championships as a head coach at Brophy. He won one at Eastmark. Went to Desert Vista as a head coach. Did that, I think, for maybe a year or two, and then decided to take a step back because his son now is playing collegiately and wants to just work as an assistant so that he can go watch his son play college ball. Let's run that post-game interview from Queen Creek Mountain Ridge. Go ahead, guys.
I'm Julia Coyne here with the Varsity Sports Show with Queen Creek's player of the game, Tate Reynolds. Tate, what was going through your head through this game? You had a very impressive performance.
I just want to thank the Lord that I was out here today and I was able to play and for my health. And my team made it easy and just preparation. I was just going through my reads and playing the game.
You know, you're a big leader. How do you feel like you can help your team throughout these games and this season with your leadership?
It's a hard game. I mean, there's ups and downs, so I just try to keep my team level-headed, and we just get to work every day.
You know, you're committed to Clemson. What are you looking forward to most going there and the rest of your senior year?
I'm just excited to learn and get better every day. So, I'm committed, but there's always something to learn and something to get better at, and I'm trying to reach that next level.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you.
I'm Julia Coyne with the Varsity Sports Show.
Great job. Take credit where credit is due. You work hard, you win games. It's amazing, and I can really I can appreciate it. I can appreciate teams that get together that work hard, and that's what this is about. It's a lot of fun, and you get rewarded when you play well, and good for them. But anyway, you're local, Mason. You grew up here in the Valley. You grew up in Gilbert. You attended Campo Verde High School. Go Coyotes! What do you have any favorites out there right now? I mean, you are really watch all of these games.
Oh yeah, I'm really invested. 6A, definitely think Liberty. I think they're going to be in the open division, but I think Liberty is going to probably get that one back. Basha probably also going to be in the open division. 5A, I know they have a loss in the year, but I've been really keeping up with Horizon this year, and I really like their team. I really like their team.
Something about Horizon and first-year head coaches where they win a state championship out the gate. I mean, Andy Litton did it a couple years ago when he took over the program in his first year, and who knows? Maybe it'll happen again this season. So good for them. Anyway, so we have a lot more coming up. When we come back from the break, what do we got, Mason?
We're going to talk to Griffin Engelberg, who is out at Canyon del Oro, so our southern Arizona team. They always do an amazing job. And then Quinton Pressley with that Brophy team, another great contender, I think, probably for the open division.
Absolutely. So, Griff, we've got this partnership with National Football Foundation Southern Arizona chapter where we're doing the Southern Arizona Game of the Week. And this week they were covering Canyon del Oro. So, big game against Marana and Griffin Engelberg, our very own from the University of Arizona, and that team down there. Great job. So, looking forward to hearing back from Griff. Guys, don't go anywhere. Varsity Friday night post-game show. Vince and Mason will be right back. Go Varsity.
Show Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
My name is Julia Coyne. I'm a sophomore studying sports journalism at Arizona State University. This semester, I'm super excited to learn and improve my broadcasting skills, editing, camera work, and finding stories in Arizona. Being a part of the fall 2024 team means so much to me. With Varsity Sports, I'm Julia Coyne.
Aapak is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, Aapak has you covered. Call Aapak, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. The Varsity Sports Show is once again proud to partner with Grand Canyon University Club Sports in 2024 and 25. Join us in our coverage of GCU Club Sports on Saturday's Varsity Sports Show and the rest of the week. We'll cover hockey, soccer, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, and more. The Lopes are back on the Varsity Sports Show.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
This program is paid for by Friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
the 501c3
nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening to the Varsity You are Friday listening Night to Post-Game
the
Wrap.
Varsity Friday Night Post-Game Wrap.
Awesome. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the KDUS AM 1060 Varsity Friday Night. Still thinking of the name show. I think we're going to brainstorm it a little bit. I might have to talk with Vince, and we'll figure out a name for it here soon. But, we've had a great night so far, 11 p.m. Arizona time, and we've talked to a lot of great correspondents for the Varsity Sports Show, as well as our Las Vegas correspondent, Nicholas Anderson. Lots of great games going on, and we're only halfway through. We have so much more to get to, and I'm excited to get to it. And Griffin Engelberg, our wonderful Southern Arizona correspondent, was at that Canyon del Oro Marana game, so we're going to go talk to him. Griffin, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. How was that game down there in Southern Arizona?
We went into it really excited. It kind of ended up being a blowout, unfortunately. It was 48-0 Marana High School versus CDO. And, it was a pretty competitive game, but Marana just showed that they were the better team.
Well, that's interesting. So Marana, I think, is 6A, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So and Marana, definitely top 3 in Southern Arizona. But now CDO, 4A state champs. I mean, come on. That's wow, what happened there? But
I think one of the biggest reasons why they really struggled is because last season, or at the end of last season, they lost like almost 30. I think it was like almost 25 like seniors.
Oh, okay.
They're not the same team that they were last year. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. overall, the vibe, I mean, you've been rotating around different games. I commandeered the show now. I'm sorry, Mason, but I got to ask. I got to find out from our crew because I'm going down there to do a game in like 2 weeks. I'll be calling a game with you guys. So how's it been? How have you been received? How's the Southern Arizona National Football Foundation train been going every week with that game of the week?
It's been pretty fun. Especially tonight, like the vibes were just really good. Like so many people came out, 2 big schools, and CDO has a really good school spirit, so that was fun. The past 2 games we went to were, I'm not gonna say they weren't like the best energy, but it not nearly as much as like our Bisbee game or this game or the first game in Marana.
Yeah. Well, good, but you guys are having fun calling these games, right? I mean,
it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
That's
We're
good.
having a blast.
That's good. All right. Well, that's good to hear. So, your impressions on, again, you talked about it was one-sided. It was a blowout. I mean, did you see anything good out of CDO that maybe they can hang their hat on moving forward?
I mean, they have a really good defense. I will say that, and they're also very disciplined. I talked to the coach before, and he said that's sort of their motto is just to be a very disciplined team, and their defense was really good. In the first quarter they were actually doing a really good job, but I think Marana really just outpowered them. And Marana has some really star like athletes. Desmond Roebuck, who's one of the top receivers in Arizona right now. He had 2 touchdowns in this game, and he's also committed to Washington from Jedfish. So that's really cool. So yeah, they have some really good players.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Griff. We're looking forward to hearing more from you guys. And like I said, I'll be down there in 2 weeks, and whatever game that is, I'm looking forward to working with the team down there. And you guys have been doing a bang-up job serving as ambassadors of our programming in Southern Arizona, and also working hand-in-hand with the National Football Foundation Southern Arizona chapter and all those great folks. Especially special acknowledgement to go out to Lisa Mandel, who really is the glue that holds all of that together for them. And she's an amazing person and has really opened up a lot of doors for us. So great job, Griff. Good talking to you, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Yeah. Griffin Engelberg, who is a Chaparral High School graduate, and he's down at the U of A and doing his thing there with the journalism school. So Corey Dillon, let's run that post game.
I'm Griffin Engelberg with the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here with our player of the game, Durian DeWitt. Durian, this is a great game for you guys. You had 2 touchdowns. How does it feel to come out and get a win against this really good CDO defense?
Pretty great. We lost last year, but this year a different story. Got a different team. Like it. Like I was looking.
For sure. And you guys are now 5-0. So how do you think you guys can keep up this momentum and continue to win?
Just keep practicing hard, keep conditioning, and then just stay locked in the whole time.
For sure. And is there anyone else on your team you want to shout out tonight for their performance?
Whole O-line, Dominic Salido, Dez, everybody on defense, all cooked up.
For sure. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Awesome. That was a great interview. And I like what you said earlier, Vince, about Marana being one of those best Southern teams in Arizona right now. I mean, I think they go kind of under the radar majority of every season.
And you've got the traditional ones. You've got the Sal Point that gets a lot of attention, but it's nice to see Marana, and then Marana Mountain View has been a perennial one as well. I think traditionally they've been in the 5A ranks, and then you got a bunch of 3A teams that are going to battle it out as well. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be covering Nogales. We covered Bisbee, Douglas. We're just getting out there, and I'm so impressed with this team down there. Ellie Moffitt, our technical director, and of course Kiana Watchman. You got Griffin Engelberg and Ray Chavez Cervantes, who we feature periodically and who you spoke to earlier on Varsity Live. So a lot of good stuff. Mason, who's up next?
We have Quinton Pressley, who was out of that Brophy game. Really excited to talk to him and see what happened there for Brophy Prep. Quinton, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mason. How are you?
Doing good. I mean, how was that Brophy game that you covered tonight?
Man, it was a thriller. If you're looking on one side of things, Brophy Prep absolutely dominated in the 5th annual Holy Bowl, they break the tiebreaker 3-2.
Okay, wow, 3-2. So, I mean, how was that game kind of look? You said they were pretty much dominant. So, what was like what kind of was successful for them in that game?
Well, so in the series winning game, they won 40-0, and on all aspects of the game, from offense, defense, special teams, they were just showing absolutely no mercy. And it started from the quarterback, Case Vanden Bosch, who had a sensational night, only had one interception. I think he had something like a 75% completion percentage, and the defense was very poised and locked in every possession.
Awesome. I feel like every Brophy game, there's always like a high energy in terms of the crowd, and everyone just wants to be there and be at the game. So you can just walk me through it, the kind of vibe and the atmosphere you saw tonight at that game?
Totally. It was kind of interesting because it was a neutral site, so there wasn't necessarily Brophy was still the home team, but it wasn't on their home field, and the Brophy for sure traveled well. It wasn't too far from their home field, so they had a lot of fans.
It was across the canal, for gosh sakes. Yeah, it was about 100 yards from their campus, but that's funny.
I wasn't too sure where.
Yeah. It was dark, so you probably did. You passed it. You didn't realize it, but yeah, that they play all their home games at Central High. In fact, they spent money on some of the infrastructure. So no, that is their home field. Yeah, no, that's their home field. So yeah, you're good for many years now. In fact,
it was pretty lively.
Yeah.
The cowbells weren't ringing too loud because they were dominating throughout the game, and I think during the first quarter they were ringing them, but as they kept putting the pounding on, it was just a little bit of a quiet section.
I like the fact that they've got a DJ out there. It's fun, and then they've got some idiot that's spraying water on people as you walk by, and I've got some of that as well because I went and kind of helped out a little bit, and our team doesn't need any help. I think I got in the way half the time, but it made me feel better being there. But no, it was quite the game tonight. So congratulations to the Broncos, Coach Jewell. It was funny. He walked by at halftime, said hello to me, and our old friend Steve Schaff, who's a sports information director. In fact, he worked at both schools. He had a lot of years in at Notre Dame Prep, so he still knows a lot of those folks. And then went over to Brophy and does a great job. And Steve, shout out to Steve for all the help and support that he provides us. So. Q, nice job. You and Nick did a great job calling tonight. Avery stepped in, directed the game, and then Sam Lanier, Bree Chappie, and Greg Zaber rounded out the production team. So good job out there. And I think we may have a post-game interview. Paisley Poole, the field correspondent. Run it, guys.
Paisley Poole here with Varsity Sports after the big Holy Bowl game. I'm here with number 55 defensive player Matt Hernandez. Matt, how proud are you of your team tonight?
First off, I want to give all glory to God. We wouldn't be here without him. But man, oh man, we played amazing. Defense, we shut them out. Not only defense but offense. But this is what we do. We prepare for this all week. Everywhere. In practice. with our bodies. I'm so proud of my team, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them.
And what is your favorite part about your Bronco football team?
Man, I think just hanging out with them, just, being with them, it feels like 24/7, morning practices, school, after, whenever we're hanging out. I think just that, just bonding with them and, enjoying each other.
And Brophy plays Basha next, correct?
Yes, sir.
How are you? How are you preparing for this?
Basha's a great team. One of the best teams in the state. And we're excited, but we're gonna work our butts off. We're gonna prepare, like how we've been, and we're gonna have to play a really good game to, be able to beat them, which I have full confidence we will.
Thank you, Matt. Great game.
Thank you so much.
So Mason, I think we talked about this earlier, and you grew up here, so you followed a lot of teams. How do you feel about Brophy?
They always have a great team. I think what separates them from a lot of other programs is the way they develop their underclassmen. I feel like they get a lot out of their freshman and sophomore players really early. So
I will say that how do I say this? Extracurricular activities are mandatory your freshman year, so everybody plays football. Like they have a freshman A team and a B team. So yeah, that's like a pool of athletes because it's required. So they all go out for football, and then some go out for swimming. That's pretty fun. But Brophy's a magical place. There are a lot of schools that are doing it the right way. Brophy's one of them. And as well as a handful of others. Mountain View's another one. Saguaro has a rebuilding year, but they've been one for years and years and years. I mean, as evidenced by the number of state championships they have in their trophy case just in the last 20 years alone. And they'll be back. But it's tonight was an interesting night of football. It really was. Being out at Central High, Q was funny, saying that it was a neutral site, literally, 100 yards from Brophy's campus. But there were a lot of people. I mean, it was wall to wall, and this was a big rivalry game that they played up. But man, it didn't seem like a rivalry. Rivalry games tend to be like 24-21, 37-33, 10-8. This was 40-0. Wow. And George Prelock, great coach out of Notre Dame Prep, great teams that he's put on the field. Tonight just wasn't one of those nights for the Saints, but it definitely was for the Broncos. By the way, a reminder, we have a show tomorrow morning, am1060, 9 to 11 a.m. Our very own Doug Santo, Tomasa Perez, and Roberto Astorga. God, Robert, Tommy, and Doug are going to be in studio tomorrow morning. Robert's a Glendale High Cardinal who's at Cronkite now. Tommy is a St. Mary's Knight. She's at Cronkite. And Doug Santo, who is from Texas, who's also a Cronkite student, but they're going to be in studio. We're going to have Coach Jason Jewell joining us at 9:15 tomorrow morning. Our show goes from 9 to 11. We'll have coaches on throughout the show, but he's up first, so you'll hear from Coach Jewell early and get his take on the win and the season and everything else. Mason, when we come back from the break, what do we have coming up?
We have our last couple recaps of the night. Ian Monje at the North Apollo game. Kooper Holman at that Horizon versus Millennium game. Excited to see how that one went. And then the one I think we're all been waiting for, Chris Zevallos at that Saguaro game. Excited to see how that one ended up.
Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break here on Varsity Friday Night Postgame. That sounds good. We'll be right back. Go Varsity.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Hey everyone, I'm Mason Byers and I'm a senior at Arizona State University Walter Cronkite. I am a sports journalism major and I have a love for covering sports and being able to tell the stories that go with them. I'm going to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show team this semester and I cannot wait to share some amazing stories this fall. See y'all soon.
Junior College Athletic Conference. We are back for another year of HJCAC football. We'll bring you the JUCO Game of the Week, on-site live coverage, weekly JUCO report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show, and coming this fall, the weekly Coaches Show with Coach Doug Medoski. Stay tuned for more. JUCO football is alive and well in Arizona. Brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show and the HJCAC.
Hello guys, my name is Daniel Rios and I'm going to be joining the Varsity Sports Show as an intern this upcoming fall in 2024. I'm currently a senior at Arizona State University studying sports journalism, and I'm overall really excited to get to join the team. I'm going to be a technical director this upcoming fall, and I can't wait to broadcast and produce a lot of the high school and college sports action here in Arizona to you guys. I just want to thank you guys for tuning into the show.
Hey Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to AM 1060 KDUS radio show here. Varsity post-game wrap, I think that's what we've been naming it. Still figuring it out. It's a work in progress, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But We'll figure it out. But yeah, we've covered a lot of games in Arizona and a game in Las Vegas. A little semi-preview of our Houston game of the week that takes place tomorrow. But we still go on with North versus Apollo. Our own Ian Monje was out at that game, and we're going to go check up on him. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing well, my man. I'll just put it to you like this. When we're talking about this game, it was entertaining, man. We talk about, at least with the last couple of games that I've went to where there was like a lot more blowouts, this was a much closer competition. Apollo ended up taking the win 25-13. I mean, shoot, I saw 2 safeties happen in this game. Where do you see football games having two separate plays where there's safeties? So a very entertaining day on my end.
Awesome. Definitely always like to see an entertaining game amidst some blowouts we've had tonight. Break me down. Besides those 2 safeties, what other aspects of the game did you see that kind of stood out to you tonight?
I mean, shoot, aside from those safeties, I mean, we saw 2 50-plus yard touchdowns, one on the second play of the game by Apollo. It was to it wasn't Apollo, it was North.
Oh, awesome.
Excuse me on that part. One more time. It was Apollo. Hector Pacheco. He ended up getting the 50-plus yard touchdown on the second play of the game. Jaden Coulter on Apollo as well. He was our player of the game. He had himself a really nice punt return in the middle of the third quarter when it was all tied up at 7-7, and he was really able to swing the momentum for the team. The offense went down the field, and he ended up getting himself a short rushing touchdown, and it extended the lead. And from there was the safeties, and then there was more touchdowns as well. There was another 50-plus yard bomb to Isaiah White. So again, it was just a very nice turn of events for Apollo, who was looking for their 3rd victory of the season.
Well, you mentioned the player of the game. Ian, thank you so much for being out there at that game tonight, and Dylan and Corey to run that interview.
And we are here in Phoenix at North High School, coming off of a very nice 25-13 Apollo win. We are here with the player of the game, Jaden Coulter. Jaden, you had a couple of big plays today. You had that big punt return earlier, and then that's promptly set up a nice touchdown by yourself. Just your mindset going into those plays in particular and how that swung the game.
I was just thinking about doing my assignment, doing my job, and just supporting my teammates in whatever way I can. And our mindset was just to get the ball and score it if we can. And I took the punt to do it as best as I can. And we scored a touchdown on that drive.
How much credit do you give your teammates for setting you up like that? I mean, you're setting yourself up with some nice blocking on both the punt return and on that rushing touchdown.
I credit them a lot. They blocked me. Number 40, Mason Cole blocked for that touchdown. Isaiah White on that kick punt return. And then Julian Gagnon, he set me up for that punt return too. And all my teammates, they did really well, and we performed very well in the second half.
Last question for you. You guys are 3-2 now. You're back to a winning record. Yeah. What is the expectation that you're placing on the team and for yourself going forward?
The expectation is to be great and execute as best as we can. We need to do what we need to do in the season, and we want to make the playoffs. So.
Yes, sir. Again, my name is Ian Monje for the Varsity Sports Show. You guys have a great night.
Awesome. And then we're going to switch right into the next gear. A great 5A matchup we had between Millennium and Horizon. And our own Kooper Holman was at that game. Cooper, how are you?
Good. I'm doing great. And, man, Horizon came and answered the call after a tough loss against Pinnacle last week. They lost 54-51 in a shootout. This week, not only did the defense play better, but just in all 3 phases of Horizon squad played great. 38-8 win. Defense had a shutout going. Coach Ditmore took his starters out with about 5 minutes to go, and the Tigers scored a late touchdown. So in my opinion, that's a shutout, but scoreboard says otherwise. Quarterback Jace Ashley, he was looking fantastic. Whether it was using his legs or hitting the deep ball to Partridge or Wagner, they were just clicking on offense. And big shout out to Johnny Issett, who was our player of the game, stepping up for star running back Bodie Zamorano, who went down with injury last week. Issett came in and the offense didn't skip a beat. He rushed for some big gains tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kooper, for doing a great job covering that Horizon game. And I think we have an interview with Johnny Issett, so Dylan and Corey run that.
Layla Ruderman reporting live here from Horizon High School, where the Horizon Huskies have just won 38-8 over the Millennium Tigers. I am joined with junior running back Johnny Issett. Johnny, congratulations. Big game tonight. 3 touchdowns. It's also your first night starting. I saw you on the homecoming court earlier. Big night for you. Tell me all about it.
Well, I honestly just think it was God's timing for me. It gave me the opportunities, and I get to, my line was incredible blocking all around with my receivers too. And I think if there's anything that I could talk about, it's my incredible teammates, especially Bodie, who's been injured this week, but who has been by my side and been there for me throughout this. So I really appreciate him too.
I love that. I saw him hyping you up pregame over there on the sidelines. You guys are now heading into a bye week. What are you hoping to look to get out of this before facing Notre Dame prep?
We got a lot of work to do, a lot of things to clean up, but we're just going to keep working hard and get at it next week. So.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Go enjoy your homecoming night. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. So a great game from Horizon. That great bounce back win after playing a 6A Pinnacle team that's definitely pretty good. Always great when you see that next man step up for a football team. And now we're going to go switch it over to the Corona del Silver Saguaro game. Our own Chris Zevallos called that game. Chris, how are you?
Hey, Mason, what's going on, my man?
That's good, my guy. How was the game tonight?
If you asked me to describe this game in one word, I would say wow. Who would have thought that Saguaro would be 0-4 coming into this game? And who would have thought Corona del Sol would be 0-4 coming into this game? Which, by the way, before I get into this game, I don't think these records define these teams in any way or form. I've been around a lot of high school football in my recent years, and I got to say this is probably top 2 of the craziest finishes that I've ever seen. To kind of paint a little picture, both teams kind of came out kind of sluggish. Both teams played a really sloppy game on a housekeeping front. They had a lot of penalties on both sides. Both were kind of getting in their own way. Just some old-fashioned, ugly, hard-nosed football was pretty much the name of this game. Corona del Sol really leaned on their run game. Saguaro was really leaning on their quarterback, Marcel Jones, who is a tremendous dual-threat quarterback. Really dynamic on his legs. He had 3 total touchdowns, 1 rushing, which was an amazing scramble that you have to see to believe, and 2 really good throwing touchdowns. I said on the broadcast that first touchdown that he threw was just a quick speed out route, just a little quick out route that the receiver just kind of takes 2 steps and he goes straight to the sideline. As a guy who really appreciates fundamentals in football, especially on the offensive side, he really did a good job of leading the throw to push it towards the sideline for his guy to catch it and to get away from the defender to shake him off for a long touchdown, which, by the way, was Jaden Wiseman for that long touchdown. And then that kind of shifted the momentum to Saguaro, but then Corona del Sol took it back. It had a nice pop pass for a touchdown as they popped the seam for the touchdown to respond. And then at the end of the first half was a really questionable scenario for me calling the game. I don't know if Corona del Sol was just trying to pooch kick it out of bounds or I don't know what they were doing. They faced a punt situation. Their punter kind of ran to the side as a rugby kick, and he kind of squibs it, and it's kind of a low kick. And Aiden Whitaker, the wide receiver, who was a gunner on the punt return team for Saguaro, catches it and walks right in for a touchdown to close out the half. So 21-14 Saguaro was the score at the half. And then Saguaro and Corona del Sol were kind of battling for the momentum throughout the rest of the game. A lot of penalties on both sides of the ball. A lot of unnecessary roughness calls, unsportsmanlike conduct on both sides. Just that was kind of the name of the game. So Saguaro had a long rushing touchdown from Marcel Jones called back on the opening play of the second half. And then they ended up fumbling it and giving it away to Corona del Sol for them to score. And then they find that each team finds themselves at 28-28 with the closing seconds, and Saguaro, it forces a punt, and they trickle the clock down, and they ended up scoring.
Hey, Chris.
And then
I'm very sorry. We're on a hard break, but we have to we're going to have to transition out. But we've got the post game interview. We're going to run that, and unfortunately for Saguaro, Corona ended up coming away with the win. Congratulations to Corona del Sol and head coach Jake Barrow. It was literally a last second win. Corona comes away with the win by 3, and we're going to run the post game interview. Chris, thanks again for calling that game. You did a great job, and nice job on the summary.
Thank you, Vince. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Go ahead, Corey.
Olivia Prickett with the Varsity Sports Show postgame at Saguaro versus Corona del Sol. I'm here with quarterback Marcel Jones. You had an amazing performance tonight. You really connected with Aiden Whitaker and Jaden Wiseman. You had some amazing plays. What are you most proud of about yourself tonight?
Probably just us working together, scoring points. I didn't have no practice this week, so I think I did good with a little preparation. We all did good.
What allowed you to make those kinds of plays like that? Like, you ran the ball to the touchdown, and you were able to execute very well. What allowed you to make those plays?
My O-line, they showed up big tonight. They've been taking a lot of criticism over these past 4 weeks, and they showed out tonight. And we couldn't do nothing. None of the points we had, we couldn't score without them. So,
great job tonight.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. Those are our games. We covered 9 games. We got one tomorrow, and we've got the HJCAC Game of the Week. It's going to be the Gila River Hawks hosting the Salt River Scorpions at one site, Campo Verde, tomorrow night at 7, and then at 5 p.m. at McClintock High School, it's Papago Pumas versus the Maricopa Mustangs. Guys, stick around. Tomorrow morning, 9 to 11, we'll be back. Mason Byers, last words.
Go Varsity.
All right, guys, go Varsity. Have a great night, great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9, right here.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
On VSiN, the sports betting network.
The sharpest hour in sports betting. This is the Circa Friday Football Invitational on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Rob Brandt in the studio. If you follow him on Twitter at Indiana Jet, and he's a happy man, at least 2 out of 3 reasons